the volume. Turn up the volume. You've arrived at the destination for all things Kentucky. This is the Bleed Blue Network Podcast.
Hey there, BBN. Welcome back to the BBN Ladies Unleashed podcast. I am joined tonight by Michele at Forever Big Blue. How are you doing tonight?
Doing well, thank you. And yourself?
I'm good. I'm looking forward to the snow we have coming in. Not the ice, but the snow. As everyone who follows me knows, I love snow. So
yeah, you're one of those, and I'm fine without snow, but as I told you before, I have reasons for that, but I just have some bad associations. But I don't begrudge anyone else their enjoyment of snow. I'm just not going to be out there saying, "Give me snow." And literally, yes, keep the ice away from me.
Keep it away from everybody. Ice just causes so many issues, so many problems. It's not a good time. Did you have a good holiday?
Had an absolutely wonderful holiday. Got to spend a lot of time with my grandson, who was just, I'm telling you, that boy, he is a medically complex child. Mm-hmm. And every one of his gains that he makes is such a huge blessing. And he's been really doing things by leaps and bounds lately. And he was a joy. And got to spend time with very close friends and with my church family. So it was probably about as good as a holiday could be.
Yeah, that's all you can ask for. Yeah, I took some time off work and completely unplugged, and it was so nice. Like with my kids' activity schedules with band and archery and everything else. Like I've been nonstop running since July, I think. So it was really nice to just completely unplug for, I think, like 7 days, essentially. And not do anything. I didn't play on my phone. I was on my phone a lot. I didn't check any work emails. It was just straight family time. So it was fantastic.
I even I unplugged a lot from sports. There was not too much in the sports world that I had an interest in. I tried to see what the SEC could do with bowl games, and that was a waste of time. And for all the haters out there, yes, I'm a huge Cowboys fan. I have been since I was 5 years old. I came about it organically. It wasn't like I lived in Texas or anything. I just saw this team on TV, and they had stars on their helmet, which I thought were so cool. And so I decided that was my team. So, get over it. They're always going to be my team. But they decided back in October to make me not have any reason to watch them the rest of the season, although I did. I should not have watched them Sunday. Really should not have watched them Sunday. Yeah. They play one quarter good, and then they get beat down for 3 quarters. It's really not pretty, but...
Sports fandom, though. You keep watching no matter what.
There you go.
Yeah, the SEC has not shown up in bowl games at all. It's bad. It's been really bad. It's been awful. I do think Ole Miss is winning right now. I think they are beating Duke, so that's a positive. That's a plus, even though it is Ole Miss and Lane Kiffin. But
beating Duke in any sport is always a good thing. They just
anytime Duke loses, America wins.
There you go.
So that's what we're gonna say.
There was, speaking of that, somebody, and I didn't even take note of who it was. I just saw the absurdity of the tweet where some guy today posted, "There was never a college basketball freshman any better than Zion Williamson. Prove me wrong."
Oh, well, AD would like a word. Thank you.
Well, somebody immediately posted with AD like 9 different things. Okay, did he get this, defensive player of the year, SEC conference player, this, and went on down the line. Mm-hmm. And then other people threw in some other. I was like, the dude couldn't even run. I mean, he had the most ridiculous.
Still can't run, Michelle.
Oh my gosh! It was like, how do you take him seriously when you would watch him run down the court? It was the silliest thing I've ever seen.
But I would say this, that it's a shame because talent wise, he's so gifted. He's so gifted, but he screams laziness with how he doesn't stay in shape. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't have the drive is I think the problem. Maybe.
And I think that not staying in shape made him more prone to the little nagging injuries. And he just wasn't all that. He wasn't even, a half a bag of chips, just nothing.
He was in a good class. That's the thing. So that's why because I think he was with RJ Barrett and them, but regardless, AD would like a word at all times.
Yeah.
I
can think of a lot of college big men that would like a word, but anyhow.
Yes. We digress.
Yes, we do.
Quick shout out to the women's team. They opened up SEC play tonight against Mississippi State. They won 91-69. They did set the school record for 3-pointers made in the game, which is crazy. Deja Lawrence was phenomenal tonight.
She was unconscious there for one period. I mean, you just knew. She got the ball, and you knew there's a three. It didn't matter if she was within 5 miles of the 3-point line. It was going in, and we knew this.
Yep. Yeah, it's first half stat that I thought was interesting. Georgia and Deja had 30 points combined, those two, in the first half, and Mississippi State only scored 35 as a team in the first half.
And at one
those
point,
two had 30, and yeah.
Yeah, at one point they had 14 baskets with 13 assists.
Yes. So they were passing the ball really well and making shots when needed to.
And if I'm not mistaken, Mississippi State was supposedly known for being a very strong defensive team, and Kentucky made them look completely inept for long stretches tonight.
Well, I mean, Mississippi State's 11-1. Well, they were 11-1. They're 11-2 now. So it's not like they had, they were playing well. But Kentucky they were literally firing all cylinders tonight. So they do open up conference play 1-0. So we like
12-1 on the season, which 12-1, after the last two seasons, this is such a breath of fresh air. And
oh God, you're not kidding.
And I don't know, did Kenny Brooks sit down for more than 3 minutes during the game? I mean, I kept looking over at the bench. I'd see this empty chair, and then you'd see him just as far as he could go without crossing that line.
Yeah, I like watching him coach because he doesn't ever seem to be too animated on the sideline. You know what I mean? Like he keeps his cool the entire time, but he still gets results when he needs the results. Aside from the North Carolina game, which whatever, rest of the time though they've played well, and tonight they played exceptionally well. So I think if they can keep playing like this, they'll win way more games than predicted in SEC.
Yeah, I don't see him getting like you said that over animated thing. Coaches are if you missed a defensive assignment or did a really stupid shot. I have seen him get just a little bit elevated when the referees did something incredibly stupid. He will get worked up about that, but not overly so. But he will. The blood pressure does go up a couple of points, I'm sure. But and he's so encouraging. Of all things, BBN, and that's that thing that we're seeing again. It's a camaraderie between all the programs supporting each other, and I'm really loving that. And I'll be completely honest. I blame Mitch Barnhart quite a bit for some of the dissonance that we had between programs. I think he pit some coaches against others.
Yeah, he definitely fueled the fire and fanned those flames.
Yeah, there was ways to handle that, and he chose the wrong way. But I think all the new coaching hires, and I think they're kind of pulling his butt out of the fireplace right now for him. So
his hot seat is no longer as hot. Like,
There you go.
all right. Speaking of basketball, the boys played Brown on Tuesday. You know, we needed a good beatdown, and we definitely had one, right? What were your thoughts on the game overall?
Well, initially, the first thing that kind of grabbed me while I was watching was we're not rebounding so well. And it would be easy to get wrapped up on that. I think we ended up losing the battle on the boards 35-29. However, we had more deflections than I have seen probably in the last 3 seasons combined.
Mm-hmm.
And that is an excellent sign of strong defense. And then when you look at the end of the game, yeah, it was just Brown, but we've had a lot of just whoever's that we played. 54 points. That's the least amount of points allowed for the season.
Mm-hmm.
That's got to get some kind of airplay there. And the other thing I will say, I mean, it should have, based on what I've heard from the players, the ball screen defense was way improved.
Yes, I agree. Completely agree with that one. Rebounding continues to be one of my biggest pet peeves with this team, I think. First half ended with us getting out rebounded 21-10 by Brown.
Right.
And their biggest player is only 6'8". Like, and I know size doesn't matter when it comes to rebounding. Like, Oscar proved that 1,000%. But especially against a team when you outmatch them at pretty much every position, there's no reason for us to go to halftime down 11 rebounds. And even to finish the game, with minus 6-7 rebounds, like, that should never be a thing. And the fact that continues to be, I guess, a sore point. It does concern me for SEC play a little bit, just because of the caliber of the SEC this year. And we know how teams rebound, right? Like, we know how aggressive they are on the boards. If they don't get it figured out, it makes me fearful or scared that will come back to bite us more often than not.
Well, I guess my cautiously optimistic take on that is the increased number of threes that we're shooting, and we will.
Mm-hmm.
I expected to see a dip in offensive rebounding simply because it's harder to get offensive rebounds on missed threes.
Well, yeah, but defensive rebounds, though, that's a big thing too.
Yeah.
Like, that's a bigger issue with me, is defensive rebounding.
Right, and like I said, that being said, I was not going to give him a pass on the defensive rebound. Absolutely not, because, and I still think that the thing that's made this, because we were actually, I thought, while not setting the world on fire, we were pretty steady until Kirk Reese's injury.
Yes.
And our first podcast I mentioned, I think his absence on the floor is greatly underrated because it wasn't about stats. It's what he added emotionally and energy-wise to the team.
Mm-hmm.
And I think today's his birthday, by the way.
It is. Did you see that the team snuck in his house and surprised him?
Okay.
They did. They snuck in his house and surprised him. They posted a video of it. And of course, Kerr being Kerr, like, he was like, "Oh God, what?" Like, almost fell the door backwards. But yeah.
And I look forward to his return. I think it's. I kind of like that he's been out the time period that he has been out, because he's going to be really ready to go in the heat of SEC play. So, one other thing that we do have to point out from the Brown game, and again, I don't care who you are, the fact that we had 4 turnovers in the first half. We ended the game with a total of 5.
Yeah, which is really good, and that's ridiculously good. We need to keep that up the entire season.
Exactly that, and I think Pope is actually pretty good about you emphasizing how precious every possession is. You need to value the ball when you have it. Don't get don't be a step ahead thinking about shooting before you've actually got your hands on the ball.
Yep.
Things we've seen a lot over the years. I think this team does have a better handle on things, no pun intended there. But that's the kind of thing they need. And having 14 steals, like I said, those deflections, that kind of takes us back to Patino days. You remember that's the first time I ever remembered tracking deflections. And Patino made a big deal out of that. So it's really not a surprise that Pope is going to make a big deal out of deflections, because that's how he was raised, so to speak.
Right. Yeah, and we do have good hands. We really do. And that's the team settling in and trusting and like each other, I should say. So that is good. And I know the defense, the deflections, Brown did have the most turnovers all season. I forgot how many they finished with.
23.
23, yeah. So it definitely led, but with 23 turnovers, surprisingly, UK did not score as many points as you thought they would have all the turnovers. I don't know the breakdown of live ball versus not live ball. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know that exact breakdown. But I think at one point in the first half, they only had like 5 or 6 points of turnovers. And you would expect that to be a little higher if they're getting that many deflections and, causing that many turnovers. But
it's really kind of disappointing to me, because in the box scores they distribute, they used to include points off turnovers.
Mm-hmm.
And they did not on this game, and I'm not sure why.
That's weird.
Oh, wait a minute. Here we go. I did find it. Had to go down about 17 pages through this list. 14. Was that for a half? Let's see. Points from turnover. We ended up with 33 points off turnovers.
Okay, so they definitely picked up then. They definitely picked up, which is good. Okay. That's
it wasn't so good in the first half, but it's...
No.
And 34 bench points. I always like to see that come in, because it's...
Mm-hmm.
And Pope's kind of playing with his lineups quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of fun to see Travis Perry get some meaningful time out there too.
Travis looked much more comfortable with the ball in his hand against Brown than he has in previous games. It was Brown's not SEC play, obviously, right? But he didn't seem as panicked with the ball in his hand when he was bringing up the court, right? Like, he seemed more comfortable dribbling against pressure, making decisions. He hit a 3, right? He did some shots go in. Trent Noah also did. Like, I'm a big fan of Trent Noah. I am.
He had 2 threes.
I'm a big fan of Trent Noah. Yeah. He plays loose within himself. Plus, he's good size. He's 6'4". He's built to be a freshman, right? Like, he's built for the SEC, the type of body. I'm a big Trent Noah fan, for sure.
Well, I mean, I like all of our freshmen, actually. I think they all bring something different to the table. And anytime, like I said, Colin Chandler, he got 15 and a half minutes, and Travis got 13 and a half minutes, which I think that's really critical for their development and for what they can bring to us later in the season. Like I said, you get more comfortable just being out there playing against somebody other than your teammates.
Right.
Because you know what your teammates are going to do. I mean, you play with them every day. You absolutely know it. But I'm still not quite sure what Kobe Bray is going through. I keep thinking this is the game. He's going to just bust out again. I mean, and he did get a couple of 3-pointers later in the game. But he's just seemed a little bit, just a hair off, you know?
Yeah. I think he's thinking too much when he's shooting the ball. Like,
there's a hesitation.
Yeah, he's not just letting it fly. And if you are the leading 3-point shooter of the nation, just let the daggone ball fly. Like, Mark Pope is not going to tell him to stop shooting the ball. Like, we know that. He has the green light to shoot as many as he wants to shoot. It is why he was recruited to this team.
And when you
I,
end the game with as many rebounds as 3-pointers, probably not what I mean. And yeah, you got your 2 rebounds, but you only got 2 threes.
right,
So
right.
yeah, get out of your head there, boy.
Yeah, he just needs to stop hesitating. Let it fly. Yeah, I noticed that too. But he'll get there. I have faith in the coaching staff to kind of get him over the slump that he's in. I was really happy to see Andrew Carr shoot the ball freely too.
He's uh
Um,
he's becoming very consistent, and that's
mhm,
early in the season we would see little flashes, and then he would kind of disappear for a game or two.
mhm.
And I kept thinking, if he could be consistent, we'd have something. And now he is showing consistency, and I think that is absolutely a huge plus. And Butler, he didn't have his biggest scoring game. He didn't have his biggest assist game,
Right,
but and I'm not real big on that plus minus stat. You could make stats for anything, but the plus
right.
minus, I can take or leave it. But when you've got somebody that's plus 29,
That speaks a lot though. That
yeah,
says a lot.
because that means he is making sure his teammates are in position to make the assist, to make the shots, to whatever it is. He's
Mhm.
doing what he needs to do.
Yep, I agree with that. Um, as far as you said, Carr being consistent. Yeah, he did have games. Beginning of the season, it seemed like he only showed up in big games, right? It was
Hmm.
against Duke, against Gonzaga, and then anybody else is like, yeah, okay, there's Carr, cool. But he's consistently now scoring, getting and opportunities, making his free throws. He finally stepped out and actually shot the ball against Brown, which I was very happy about. I have been begging him to just shoot the daggone ball because he's been open, and more often than not, he has passed up open threes. And I'm like,
And
listen,
I'm like,
you were
dude,
also
you've got that range, you've got that shot, we've seen it, and it's, yeah, isn't that nice to think maybe you're going to find a teammate that could get the shot, but you're open now.
and he shot like 40% from three last year, right? Like he was brought in to also shoot open threes. Like, shoot the ball, Andrew. So thank you for shooting it. I appreciate that. BBM appreciates that you shooting the ball. I'm happy. Also, Amari, that defensive Amari is who I have been waiting to see this entire season. Like,
Absolutely. He was so active. He was everywhere all the
yes,
time.
that is who I have been waiting to see the entire season. Like, we brought him in not only for his passing abilities, obviously, but also because of his defensive prowess, right? Like that's what he's also known for.
And
And
yeah, 3 block shots.
mhm,
We need we not always fond of this term. I think it's overused, but we needed a rim protector.
yes, and even just him blocking the shots did change how they played around the rim the remainder of the game.
Exactly.
And he's not been that the entire season so far. And we need him to be that way moving forward. He has to play that sort of all over the place defense in the SEC every single game.
And
We
Oway
have to
needs
have
to
it.
be the bulldog every single game.
Yes,
When you
he's
have those two on the
got to
court
be.
together, I mean, I wouldn't want to face them.
Mm-mm. No, we need Owe to be his bulldog self every game in the SEC because a lot of the guards in the SEC are like that already. Um, they are tough, hard nosed guards that will get you out of the way. Um, so we need that. Speaking of the SEC, though, we play Florida on Saturday.
At the
Early
ridiculous
game,
hour of 11 a.m.,
a very very early game. How are you feeling about that one?
well, looking at, if you just look overall stat wise, we match up very, very closely to them in just about every category.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Points, we're a little bit behind on rebounds, but we're up on assists. Blocks pretty much even. Turnovers, we're protecting the ball a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
Field goal percentage and 3-point percentage, both are better. Even free throws, and that was one thing against Brown, the free throw magic returned. Thank you. You all got to keep doing that. There's just no excuse, no excuse at all for missing 8 or 10 free throws in a game. Just none. Zero. The fact that we're playing at Rupp, I think that's not. We don't get a friendly whistle in Rupp. Let's just disavow anyone of that notion. Anybody say, "Oh yeah, the refs cheap for him in Rupp." Hello, have you ever watched a Kentucky game in Rupp? We don't get.
We're the only team that never gets a home whistle. Only
exactly.
Team, by far.
I wish I knew in advance who the referees are going to be, but I think if we don't have Pat Adams, we've got a really, really, really good shot because Pat Adams doesn't know the rules of basketball.
He just wants to be on TV. He just wants this moment to shine.
I mean, Doug Shows, he wants his airtime as well, and he gets a little overly animated. But I will say, he's far more accurate with his calls than Pat Adams ever dreamed of being.
You're not wrong.
And when Pat Adams would make the call, that everybody, the commentators, everybody saw on TV, that's the wrong call. The other officials, that's the wrong call. Pat Adams, I don't care. I'm telling you, that's the call we're going with.
Yep.
Oh,
so terrible. But
so I think it's going to be a relatively high scoring contest. I think it's going to be close most of the game. I do see in the final 5 minutes, I think that the Rupp crowd, whether they stand up in front of the Blue Hairs or not, I think the crowd's going to help pull them over the hump.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go with, I think, an 88-81 final.
Okay. So here's my thoughts on Florida. I think they probably have the best backcourt in the nation, or close to it. Walter Clayton Jr. is that dude for them. He was that dude last year for them, and he's just one of those players that can absolutely, go off, wreak havoc. They're undefeated, so they're playing very well. They have a 6'11" guy that is shooting like 47% from 3 right now. So I'm curious who will guard him, just because he does create some matchup issues. But no, they overall, they have quite a few of the starters scoring double figures. They're just good. Their backcourt's really, really good. I think Kentucky's going to have to play a really, really good defensive game. I don't think we can get down and be down at halftime 10, 11 points like we typically seem to do against big teams or big games. We can't. I don't think it's one of those games where we can do that, even if we are at home. I think we have to be leading or close to leading at halftime. And I do think that we have to win the rebounding margin in order to win. But with that being said, though, I said early in the podcast with Rando, I think the score is going to be 78-72. But I expect some Butler magic on the defensive end. Like, I expect some sort of big defensive play from Lamont to sort of seal the game away.
I can go with all of that. I'm still because, and I've said it before, but Kobe Bryant is due. He's long overdue, and I'm hoping I'm sending him all my positive mojo that he's not going to be thinking about his shot. He's going to be taking his shot.
Yes. Kobe, please just let it fly. Just let it fly.
Just go, dude. Just let it go.
Mm-hmm. Let it go. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's it. They need to play that for one of the timeout songs. Let it go.
I mean, it is right before a snowstorm. It would fit, I guess.
You would think. Oops, I'm dropping things. Never mind. I'm dropping things the way Brad needs to drop some threes, I'm telling you.
There we go. Yeah, I don't. I think we just need to be. It needs to be in all systems go against Florida. We can't be soft in the block either. The paint can't be soft.
I think we really need this because we're going into Georgia afterwards, just a few nights later. So I think from a mental standpoint, we can't start the SEC on one. We just absolutely cannot.
No, I agree.
And I think you go in there, if you beat Florida and then go down to Georgia, I think you've got a better mindset.
Mm-hmm.
And have we heard anything lately about Kerr's return? Because it's been what now? Has it been almost 3 weeks?
Yeah, I haven't heard anything. I know the video today he was on crutches, but he was kind of walking. You know what I mean? Like kind of like hobbling with the crutches on his foot. But I have not heard anything as far as like a timeline to get him back, though.
I know that someone somewhere, you know me, don't read the comments on the Facebook post, which, I did one night, and then I had to stay off Facebook for 3 days after I read. I'll get into that in a minute because I have to have my weekly rant. But
Okay.
somebody suggested that because he had surgery, that injury must have been more severe, and that's not the case at all. It's that typically you don't have to have surgery for that injury. It's a 6 to 8 week rest, and it heals.
Mm-hmm.
They did the surgery to speed up the recovery process.
Yeah.
So
it's a very delicate type of injury too. So that's kind of the thought process of that is they didn't want him to slow heal it, and then it has a greater risk of re-injuring it.
Right.
So yeah. Yeah.
And I gotta tell you, if I'm going to have a sports injury, I want to be on a UK athletics team when it happens because they have some of the best sports medicine. I mean.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That's the people I want.
Those boys are very well taken care of. They are very well taken care of.
Not totally unrelated, but semi-unrelated. I had a really bad habit of tearing cartilage in my knee over the years.
Mm-hmm.
And the last time that I had torn cartilage and I had to have surgery for it, my orthopedic surgeon, who has a Frankfurt office, but he had privileges at Central Baptist. Well, it's Central Baptist then, now it's Baptist. So I had my surgery at Baptist because it's $4,000 cheaper than having it in Frankfurt, the exact same surgery.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Because of the volume of surgeries they do and everything, it's just way cheaper.
Mm.
So I'm like, yeah, I'll just get my friend to drive me to Lexington versus Frankfurt. We'll be fine. So anyhow, I'm there in pre-op and I'm getting all ready, and they come in, they make sure they've marked the correct leg that they're going to operate on, which I always appreciate that. And get my nurses, and one of the surgical nurses has got a Florida State surgical cap. Oh, okay, no biggie. Because, that's her. She makes some bad choices in life, and it's okay.
We forgive
But then, my surgeon comes in with a Florida cap.
Mm.
And I said, this just isn't going to do. I said, really, I said, you didn't tell me this. You never disclosed this during any of my appointments. And one of the nurses, she said, hang on just a second. And so she comes in and she said, did you say you were a little cold? We got a nice warm blanket. And she put on the biggest blue UK blanket on me.
Oh, I love that.
I know. And I was like, this is great. So while they're wheeling me to the operating room, we go in and I see my surgeon, and of course my Florida State surgical nurse is behind me. Mm-hmm. And so I started doing the tomahawk chop. So yeah, that was just fun. But he did, great surgery, went well. But yeah, that was one of my Florida stories. So anyhow.
Not you causing chaos in the operating room, Michelle.
Well, as long as I focus on the right things. Yeah, ticking off your surgeon. Great move, Michelle. No.
Just blame it on the drugs. They give you some loopy stuff. It's fine. It's fine.
But anyway, like I said, I had to get to my weekly rant because it's just not me without a weekly rant. You'll learn that
Mm-hmm.
about me.
I'm here
Again,
for it.
I was, taking that dangerous little hike through the comments.
The Facebook comments, right?
Yes, Facebook. And actually, this was actually an opening post. I didn't even get to the comments
Oh,
because it was the opening post.
oh boy.
And
Okay.
I don't know where this guy was raised or by what,
Okay.
but and this was after the Ohio State game.
Mm-hmm.
So, you're going to be a little salty. I get that. But
1000%.
yeah, but to come out and say, well, I hope you all are happy that you got rid of the best coach that we've ever had. Okay, I see where this is going.
Oh boy.
Yeah, the whole reason it's Mark Pope's fault because he's too busy trying to be friends with all of the players and he doesn't yell at them and coach them the way he's supposed to. And he's up KSR's butt and all the other media's butt because he just wants to be everybody's friend instead of taking the time to teach them how to play basketball.
Oh, all right.
And I went, wait a
Oh,
minute. Okay, let's see. Last year, everybody said all Coach Cal does is scream, but he's not coaching them. He's too busy being friends with the players instead of making them work. He wasn't up KSR's, but we know that.
mm-hmm.
But he was too busy being a politician and trying to be everybody's friend instead of taking his time to actually coach. And I'm thinking, do you realize you're saying the exact same things about Pope that people were saying about Cal?
One of those
Except,
people that is not happy with anything
I
ever.
know, and I'm so sorry. But it was literally, I'm like, and when you look on a computer screen, the Facebook post was at least 6 inches long.
Oh God.
And I think I stopped reading around inch 3.5 because there was this circular logic and this guy was just going off somewhere.
Oh Lord.
And I did scroll down to, I think the first 2 or 3 comments were, huh?
What did you say?
Yeah, there was huh, and then there was bruh.
Bruh. Listen.
I was like,
bruh.
okay, I don't have to come back to this. And I actually did go back later to see if there are any more comments, but I think the guy kind of felt ratioed and his post was gone.
He's like, oh shit, should have made that one. That's my bad.
I know. I was just like, you're the kind of person that makes Kentucky fans look ignorant.
Mm. There are a minority of those that are very loud too, unfortunately.
Oh, yeah, and he criticized Pope staying after games to autograph balls and take pictures. Because that was taking away from coaching the team. Which, of course...
Is he a troll?
I have no idea, but I can tell you from my days in the media, that time that Pope would be on the court and everything, that's when the guys are back there, they've taken their showers, and they're getting their post-game meal in the locker room.
Like, how are you going to coach them after they play a game like that? Like, right after the game? Like, what?
Yeah, I know. I'm like, they're back there getting their Rafferties, because that's who always provided their post-game food.
Uh-huh.
And what I liked is when the players had, apparently wanted to go do something earlier, and they would have leftovers, and they would let the media have the leftovers.
Yes, share the food. Share the food.
Oh, man, great. Ribs! Okay.
All right, well, we're going to have a weekly Michelle's rant segment on every podcast.
I'm here for it. I'm absolutely here for it.
That'll be a thing. So we'll have to get that. Even if you don't record every episode with me, then we'll have to have you on for at least your rant every week.
Well, like I said, I'm here for that because I've always got something to rant about. It's just, it's not always Kentucky, but it's almost always sports.
Hey, that's fine. That's fine. It could be anything. That's fine.
Well, and sometimes it is other things. I could, wait till I get in on my 4-way stop. Right, but that's another episode.
That's another week, Michelle. That's another week.
Exactly. we won't even go there. This is the holidays. I'm giving grace.
All right, we appreciate that. So Michelle and I both think that UK will win against Florida. Close game, but still a W either way. And we would like to know what your thoughts are about the game. So whenever this is posted and you listen to it, if you don't mind dropping a comment and telling us what your thoughts or predictions are for the Florida game, we appreciate that. And Michelle, thank you for joining me tonight. I know we took a week off because of holidays. It is what it is. I'm glad you had a good holiday. I hope everyone listening had a good holiday as well. So yeah, thanks again for joining me. I really appreciate it.
And everybody stay safe during this weather event that is incoming. So just, sometimes it's okay to just stay home and stay out of the mess.
1,000% it is. Sometimes just stay home, hunker down. Just stay warm.
And thanks for supporting us. We really do appreciate that. We've had a lot of good feedback, and that means a lot to us. Little old ladies here just giving our opinions.
Yeah, no, the feedback has been amazing so far. And that is very much appreciated, and we hope it continues. So, this will be available on podcasting platforms at 8 a.m. Friday. So, Michelle, thank you for joining me. And as always, go Cats.
Go Cats.
Thanks for joining us on another episode of the Bleed Blue Network podcast. We hope you enjoyed diving deep into the world of Kentucky sports with us. Don't forget to stay connected by following us on Twitter at BleedBNation. Your feedback means the world to us. So take a moment to leave a review. Not only does it help us improve, but it also helps others discover the show. Until next time, keep cheering, keep listening, and keep bleeding blue.